concepts related to banking, and this is the last session of your module B. It means today we are going to discuss the union budget. Okay, so this is last class of module B, not of your syllabus, not of your IEIFS, but the module B last class will be today, in which we are going to discuss the union budget. Okay, so let's start with the practicing of the questions on the same topic. So in the union budget, what pattern of questions you will see? First, they will ask you about the basics, terminology of the budget. Second, they will ask you the formulas like how to calculate net tax revenue, how to calculate total receipts, how to calculate total expenditure, how to calculate revenue receipts, how to calculate capital expenditure, how to calculate capital receipts. All these questions will be asked. How to calculate deficit even, है ना? There are 5 types of deficit. So they can ask how to calculate the deficit as well. So all these things will be asked in the paper from this particular unit. Okay, so let's see the question. Which among the following are not correct in relation to the total tax revenue? So you can see which of the following is not covered under the total tax revenue. That's the question is asking. Interest receipt, your dividend and profit, your internal grants, other non-tax revenue, receipts of union territory. Which of the following is correct? Sorry, A, B, C or D? Which of the following is correct here? Which of the following is not a part of your total tax revenue? So tax revenue is a part of your revenue receipts. Hana, it's a part of your revenue receipts. That's a day-to-day income for the government of India. Revenue receipts is a day-to-day income for government of India, which covers tax revenue and non-tax revenue. And as you can see, non-tax revenue we are talking about. Which of the following is not a part here? First of all, interest receipt is, dividend and profit is, then other non-tax revenue is, then receipts of union territory is, but not the internal grants. Internal grants are not the part of your total non-tax revenue. It should be external grants. External grants means these are the financial assistance which have been given by somebody to us because we have a good relation with them and they have thought about that India needs this help and they have given us the fund. So it should be external grants, not the internal grants. That's why this is the wrong option. So right answer will be D. Okay, right answer will be D. So non-tax revenue means the day-to-day income of government which is done by other ways, not in form of tax. So when it comes to the day-to-day income of a government, it comes under the revenue receipts. Revenue receipts covers tax revenue and non-tax revenue. The tax revenue cover all the earning from the direct taxes and indirect taxes. But non-tax revenue cover fine, penalty, challan, your interest receipts, your dividends, your grants, all these will be the part of non-tax revenue. So right answer here is D. Now the question is asking the total receipts is equals to what? The total receipts equals to what? So receipts, if we talk about, it's the earning, है ना? And if we talk about the budget, budget have two components. First is revenue budget, that's a day-to-day budget of government of India. Second, we have capital budget, that's a long-term budget of government of India. And the budget includes two things. First is earning, second is expenditure. Always budget is a statement of income that will be named as a receipts and the expenditure. So we have revenue receipts and revenue expenditure. Similarly, we will have capital receipts and capital expenditure. That's the two components of budget. Now from this particular graph or this particular chart, you can calculate the total receipts here, that the revenue receipts plus the capital receipts is your total revenue. But with these, we have to add the drawdown of cash balance as well. Okay, so first is correct that the total revenue receipts, total capital receipts plus the drawdown of the cash balance is correct. Second is wrong because it is talking about expenditure. This is wrong. Third is wrong because it is saying a debt receipts and total capital. No, it's not only calculating, it's only calculating the capital receipts. No revenue receipts have been defined here. So the right answer is A, that total receipts, revenue receipts plus capital receipts plus the drawdown of cash balance. Drawdown of cash balance is simply the cash balance which RBI have, which is can be withdrawal by the government whenever it is required. So right answer is A. Now extend the NCCD. What is the full form of NCCD? Sorry. So NCCD is actually Not any of them. NCCD is not a council. So all the three is wrong. Answer is none of the above. So the right full form of NCCD is National Calamity Contingent UT. Okay, so NCD full form is not this. So right answer will be your D. So NCCD is the fund that the government have to give to overcome from any kind of natural disaster, natural calamity out of the total earning of the taxes. That's the NCCD we have. Now, so right answer is D here. Next question we have, that is talking about which of the following is a definition of a budget deficit. So do remember there are 5 types of deficit. Revenue, effective revenue deficit, effective revenue deficit. One is budgetary deficit, fiscal deficit and primary deficit. These are the 5 types of deficit. Out of that, it is asking about the budget deficit. A, B, C or D. Sorry. So budgetary deficit or a budget deficit simply means the overall budget of the government went to the loss, and the budget went to the loss when the total expenditure is more than the total revenue. So first is saying total expenditure over the total receipt minus the interest payment. No, nothing have to be minus. The total expenditure excess over the total receipt minus interest payment. No. The excess of revenue expenditure. No. The excess of total expenditure over total receipts. So when the total expenditure is more than the total receipts, it's your budget deficit. It's your what? It's your budget deficit. So right answer will be your D option. So budgetary deficit simply when the budget of the government went to the loss, it is total expenditure minus total receipts. So right answer is your D. Next, which of the following is the correct meaning of effective revenue deficit? The correct meaning of effective revenue deficit. Okay. So effective revenue deficit will be calculated from the revenue deficit. It will be calculated from what? From the revenue deficit. So let me know which of the following is correct in context to your effective revenue deficit. A, B, C or D. Which of the following is correct in case of effective revenue deficit we are talking about? A, B, C or D. So first is saying it is the difference between revenue expenditure and revenue receipts. This is the revenue deficit only. The first statement is talking about revenue deficit. Second is saying it is the total revenue deficit excluding the grants in aid to create assets from a state. Okay, it can be the right. Second is saying it is the total revenue deficit including grant in aid for developing assets from the state. Third is saying it is a difference between total expenditure and total receipts. So the D option is talking about budgetary deficit. So it cannot be A, it cannot be D. You have to exclude. So right answer will be B. Revenue deficit minus the grants, which is received for the capital assets. It gives you the effective revenue deficit. So right answer will be your B. This is effective revenue deficit of yours. So right answer is B. Okay. So effective revenue deficit tells us like what actual loss the government have faced in developing the economy by removing the grants from the revenue deficit. So let's say the revenue deficit we have faced is of 100 crore. The revenue expenditure is more than revenue receipts. So 100 crore loss we have faced in the economy while developing the economy or by doing the day-to-day activities in the budget, right? But what happened? The government have got the grants from World Bank or from any central government have given to the any state government or whatever. When you have get the grants here, you have deducted those grants because grants is your asset. It's not liability that you have to return in the future. That's your asset that someone have given you for helping you out in the business or for helping you out in the economic planning or whatever. So you have to subtract that grant from the revenue deficit. It will tell you what actual loss you have faced, because out of 100 crore you have got a 50 crore grants. So that's the earning of yours. So you have only lost 50 crores. So that's how the effective revenue deficit will be calculated. Okay, so right answer is B. Next, which of the following item is classified as a capital receipts in the budget for the government of India? Capital budget is a long-term budget. When we talk about the second component, that is capital budget, it is a long-term budget. Revenue budget is a short-term budget, that's a day-to-day budget, but capital budget is a long-term budget. And in the capital budget, we are talking about a capital receipts. It means it is going to talk about the long-term income of the budget of a government of India. So which of the following will be correct? A, B, C or D? Okay. First is saying receipts from the collection of income tax. If it is a tax, it is a tax revenue. If tax is written, that's a tax revenue, and the tax revenue is a part of revenue receipt, day-to-day income. The first is wrong. Okay. Second, the borrowing made by the government from the public. The borrowing is a long-term revenue, the long-term income we can say. Then the dividend and profit. The dividend and profit you have in the non-tax revenue we have just discussed. Non-tax revenue it is. Next we have the interest receipt, loan given by the government to its debtor. Interest receipts is also your non-tax income. So it means right answer is what? B. The borrowing made by the government from the public, that's a long-term income for the government, because if you are borrowing certain amount of money, you are not going to repay that in the next day. That will remain with you for a long-term period that you can use for the development of your or whatever activity you are performing. So right answer is B. It's a part of capital receipts. Next. Which of the following items are included in the revenue receipts? So revenue receipts is a day-to-day income. It's a day-to-day income which covers tax revenue and non-tax revenue both. First is saying tax revenue, non-tax, so these two are obviously covered. Then recovery of loans, borrowing and other liabilities. Are these a day-to-day activity you can feel like? Like recovery of loans is not done every day. It's a long term. Borrowing, if you are borrowing the fund, if you are giving a loan to anyone or you are taking a loan from anyone, that's a long-term activity. So these two are capital account or the capital budget transaction. So answer will be 1 and 2 only. The right answer is 1 and 2 only. That is the A option. The tax revenue and non-tax revenue are the day-to-day income of the government. Next we have here, which among the following is not a component of revenue receipts? So as we have discussed, just like revenue receipts is a day-to-day income of the government, and you have to answer which of the following is not a day-to-day income of the government. Sorry, corporate tax receipts, dividend and profit, investment receipts, interest receipts. It's very simple. Answer is actually the tax revenue is day-to-day, dividend profit is day-to-day, interest receipts is day-to-day, but disinvestment is not. What is disinvestment? When we are talking about investment, investment means you have a certain cash, you convert that cash into asset. This is investment. When you are doing disinvestment, what does it mean? It means you have a certain asset and you are converting that asset into the cash. That's the disinvestment. So when government sell its shares to the public, to the private entity and take cash from them, that is known as disinvestment. That is known as what? Disinvestment. So right answer here will be C. And it is for long term. It's not like daily government is doing investment and disinvestment. That's a long term. That's a part of your capital budget. Okay. Next question. Next we have here. Sorry. Which one of the following is the capital receipts in government budget? Which of the following is a capital receipts? First is saying interest receipts on loan given by the government to other parties. Second, we are saying dividend and profit from public sector undertaking. Third is saying borrowing of the government. Fourth is saying income tax receipts. So out of these, which of the following is a part of capital receipts in government budget? Capital receipts is long-term income. So interest receipts is a non-tax revenue, dividend and profit is a non-tax revenue, income tax is a tax revenue. So right answer is C. Borrowing of the government is a long-term receipts. If government is borrowing fund, it is for the long term, not it's like government will borrow today and will repay the tomorrow. So that's the C option is your capital receipts. Right answer will be C. Okay, it is your capital receipts. That's a long-term income of government. Next we have next question we have, Which of the following is true about the annual budget prepared by the government? So annual budget is what? Every year on 1st of February we are presenting budget. That's the annual budget. Now the fiscal policy is actually giving us the annual review. Every year one budget will be present. That's the annual budget, and that's why it have been named as an annual financial statement in our constitution as well, like because it is presented once in a year and it is related to the financial statement of the government, like how much government is earning and how much government is spending related to that. That's why it is known as a annual budget. So is it a part of money saving policy of government? Is it a part of fiscal policy of government? Is it a part of monetary policy of government, or it's a part of commercial policy of government? Which of the following is correct? Can't be monetary, can't be money saving, can't be commercial, so it is obviously B. Very simple question. The annual budget prepared by the government is a part of the fiscal policy. Okay. So your right answer will be B option. So B module talks about your economic concepts related to banking, and today we are going to talk about the unit number 18 of yours, because from 12 to 17 we have already covered. So class 16 of yours is going to talk about the system of national accounts and GDP concepts. Okay, so let's start. So the first question here is talking about pick the correct statement. So there are the statement given about the nominal GDP and the real GDP. Out of them you have to answer which of the following is correct. If I am talking about GDP, what actually the GDP is? GDP means the money value of all final goods and services produced within the geographical boundary of a country during a financial year. That is your GDP, right? But now we are talking about here nominal GDP and your real GDP. What is the difference between nominal GDP and real GDP? A, B, C or D? Which of the following is correct? A, B, C or D? So we all know about the GDP, but what is the difference between nominal and real GDP? So first is saying nominal GDP is the money value of all goods and services produced in a year. Second is saying nominal GDP is the indicator of real performance of an economy as prices change over the time, adjusting the inflation. Third, real GDP is calculated as the money value of all goods and services produced in a year, using the constant set of market prices that have prevailed in a certain chosen base year. So out of these, what do you think which of the following is correct? A, B, C or D? And I guess it's very easy to answer, because if you have studied the nominal GDP and real GDP, you should know that the nominal GDP will be calculated on the current prices. Okay, and without adjusting inflation. Real GDP is calculated on constant prices, but while adjusting your inflation. So the first is correct, the third is correct, but not the second one, because second is saying nominal will be adjusted on the inflation. Second is not correct. So A and C is correct. Right answer is C. Okay. Right answer is C. Okay. I got one correct answer, that is C. Right answer is C here, not B. It is the C option. B is wrong. Why B option is wrong? Because it's saying nominal will be adjusting the inflation. No, actually real GDP adjusts the inflation. Next question we have here, select correct statement with respect to green GDP. The correct statement with respect to your green GDP. First, a term for GDP after adjusting environment degradation. It was started through a system of national account. Third, can be used to determine monetary value of tangible and intangible components of something. So what do you think? Which of the following is correct here about the green GDP? A, B, C or D? Which of the following is correct? A, B, C or D? And the right answer here is actually all the statements are correct. Green GDP is actually talking about after the environment degradation have been removed. Like it calculates like without harming the earth, how much production you have done, and it was introduced under the system of national account. That's the international standard of calculating your national accounts. And the third one is also correct. It talks about the tangible, intangible components. Right answer is D. All are correct here. Next question we have regarding pick the incorrect one. Out of the following formulas, What do you think? Which of the following is incorrect? First is saying net factor income or net foreign factor income is GNP minus GDP. Second, gross national income equals to GNP plus income spent by foreigners within the country plus foreign income not remitted by citizens. Third, net national income is equals to gross national income minus depreciation. So, what do you think? Which of the following statement is incorrect or all are correct? A, B, C or D? Which of the following will be correct here? Let me know. So, right answer actually here is all are the correct formula which have been given here in this particular question. All are calculating the right values. Hana? These are the right ways to calculate your values. So, right answer is D. All are correct. Next question we have regarding your again statement have been given. You have to find out the correct statement. The correct statement about the GDP. First is saying GDP is the final value of all goods and services produced within the geographical boundary of a country during a financial year. Second, in India, contributions to GDP are mainly divided into three broad sectors: agriculture, allied industries, service sector. Okay, then net domestic product accounts for capital that has been consumed over the year in form of housing, vehicle or machinery deterioration. So, out of these statements you have to answer which statement is correct regarding your GDP and NDP. So, two statements are regarding the GDP and the one statement is talking about NDP. Out of these three statements, which statement is correct here? A, B, C or D? And actually the right answer will be all are correct. A, B, C, all the statement about the GDP and NDP all are correct. So, NDP calculates the depreciated value. So, it have been written like the capital that has been consumed over the year, that is your depreciation we are talking about. So, right answer is C, all the statements are correct here. Okay. Next question we have, dash is the monetary value of finished goods and services produced by the country's citizen, whether overseas or resident, minus the depreciation. So, you have to find out what terminology we are talking about in this particular question. So, you can see first you are saying that production will be done by the citizen. If it is done by the citizen, it is a national product. So, you can eliminate the domestic product. It is national product, that is confirmed. But in national product, you are subtracting the depreciation. It means it is a net national product. Simply just follow the concept here, follow the keywords here. If it is saying that the production have been done within the geographical boundary, it should be a domestic product, but it is saying the production is done by the country citizen, it is a national product. After that, it has said that depreciation have been subtracted. So, it is not a gross value, it is a net value. So, right answer will be NNP, net national product. Okay, A is correct. Next, which of the following statement is right about GDP deflator? Right about the GDP deflator. First is saying the GDP deflator is a measure of the level of prices of all new domestically produced final goods and services. Second, using the GDP price deflator helps economists compare the level of real economic activity from the one year to another. Third, it is a measure of general price inflation calculated by dividing nominal GDP by real GDP, then multiply by 100. So, what is GDP deflator formula? The formula is written very right or very true that you have to divide nominal GDP with the real GDP and multiplied by 100. This is the right formula to calculate the GDP deflator. Remember this formula, might be they can ask a numerical on this. Okay. So, they will give you direct value of nominal GDP or real GDP, or might be they will not give you the direct value of nominal or real GDP. They will give you the production of the certain years. Then you have to calculate the nominal GDP, real GDP, then put the value in this formula and calculate the GDP deflator. So, this kind of question can be asked. And the right statement is all the statement about GDP deflator is correct here. Okay, all the statement about the GDP deflator is correct here. Right answer is A. Sorry, C, A, B, C, all are correct. Next question we have, like disposable income is often talked about when discussing the national income. Which of the following correctly describe the disposable income? So, if we talk about personal income means the total income of an individual, that is a personal income. But when we talk about personal disposable income, it's the income which actually can be consumed by you, which actually can be used by you to perform any kind of purchase of goods and services. So, if I am having a personal income of 10 lakh rupees in a year, let's say for example, I am not able to use all that money because I have a liability to pay the taxes to the government of India, right? So, it's very obvious the income acquiring to individual after direct taxes have been paid. So, personal disposable income, or you can call it a disposable income, it means after paying all the taxes, after paying all the liabilities of your whatever amount of income you have, now you have the authority that you can use it to purchase goods and services, you can save it for your future or whatever you want to do accordingly. So, this is the personal disposable income that tells us the expenditure capacity of the people, because it gives the actual income in the hands of the people after paying the taxes. So, right answer is C. Okay, next. Which of the following is are correct regarding GNP? Which of the following is are correct regarding the GNP? GNP equals to GDP minus depreciation. GNP equals to GDP plus taxes minus just subsidy. GNP equals to NNP minus depreciation minus income from abroad. GNP equals to GDP plus income from abroad. Out of these, find the correct answer. So, you can see, you can eliminate the option directly, the C one, because gross will be calculated by plus depreciation. C is wrong. GNP equals to GDP plus taxes minus subsidies, not correct. GNP equals to GDP minus depreciation, not correct. But the D option is correct. GDP plus net income from abroad, when you add them, you will get the GNP here. So, right answer will be your only D. First, second, third is wrong, but the D statement is correct. That defines perfectly the GNP and GDP calculation. Okay, so right answer will be your only D. That's the D option. Sorry. Now, next question we have, that is talking about GDP deflator is often cited term in economics discussion. What does it relates to? What actually the GDP deflator means according to these statements? First is saying evaluate inflation by taking into account the GDP of the economy of the country. Second, shows GDP growth on the basis of current production. Third, GDP deflator excludes services while consumer price index includes it. And fourth, none of the above. So, which of the following is are correct here? A, B, C or D? And the right answer here will be, it actually evaluates the inflation by taking into account the GDP of the country, and it gives you a comprehensive study of inflation, है ना? So, module B of Indian economy, Indian financial system is economic concepts and related to banking, okay, in which the fundamental of economic, the supply and demand, the money supply inflation, the theories of interest and business cycle, all these units we have completed discussing in the form of advanced question, and the today's topic will be your monetary policy and fiscal policy, that is unit number 17 of module B. Okay, so this is what we are going to cover today. So, let's start. Before moving forward to the questions, what is monetary policy and what is fiscal policy? Monetary policy is actually formulated by RBI for the purpose of stabilizing or for the purpose of making prices stable in the economy. So, RBI is the central bank of the country, and RBI under the monetary policy have got this right to cover the prices stability in the country, to cover the economic stability of the country, and to make sure that the sustainable development or the sustainable growth of our economy is going on. This is the objective of RBI that RBI have to fulfill with the help of monetary policy. Clear? Now, if I am talking about monetary policy, the review of monetary policy will be provided by RBI every 2 months. In every 2 months, it means it's a bi-monthly review. In one financial year, 6 times review will be provided by RBI for our monetary policy rates or reserve ratios. So bi-monthly review it is. Earlier it used to be the quarterly review, but it have been changed to the bi-monthly after 2013. Okay. Apart from that, monetary policy have two instruments, that is direct and indirect instrument. With the help of direct and indirect instrument, RBI controls the money supply in the economy. And by controlling money supply, RBI maintain the price stability, the economic stability and sustainable growth in the country. Apart from all of these, RBI is actually created a monetary policy committee. It was formulated by central government in 2016. The first meeting of monetary policy committee have been conducted. In this committee, 6 members will be there, 3 from RBI side, 3 from the government of India side. And these 6 members will decide the policy rate have to be increased, it have to be decreased, or it have to be stable or not changed. It should be constant in the upcoming 2 months. This all decision will be taken by these 6 members. And as you know, it's a bi-monthly review. Every 2 months this can be done. Okay, this is the monetary policy. Now, if we talk about fiscal policy actually formulated by Government of India, the Ministry of Finance, the government of our country creates the fiscal policy. Cleared? Now, in the fiscal policy, government have 2 instruments, that is tax and spending. With the help of tax and spending, Government of India is actually trying to control the economic stability and to have a sustainable growth, to generate the employment opportunities for the people, and to increase or decrease the people's expenditure capacity. That's what government is doing with the help of fiscal policy, with the instrument of fiscal policy, that is your tax and spending. Okay. So this is the basics of your monetary policy and fiscal policy. Now let's cover more about this topic in form of MCQ. So first question is talking about here, which of the following statement is not correct about monetary policy committee? Not correct about monetary policy committee. A, B, C or D. You have to find out the statement which is not correct about the monetary policy committee. First is saying it comprises of 6 members where governor of RBI act as a ex officio member. Okay, what is monetary policy committee? It is simply a committee where the governor of RBI will be there and acting as a ex officio chairman of committee, and 6 members will be there. Second, it was created bringing transparency and accountability in deciding monetary policy rates. Then inflation target is set by Government of India in consultation with RBI. Okay, so these are the 3 statements have been given. Out of that, you have to find out the incorrect one. And actually, the answer will be what? A, B, C or D. Which of the following will be the right answer? Let me know. A, B, C or D. Which of the following is correct? Okay, so if we talk about monetary policy, you can see in the monetary policy we have 6 members. This is true. RBI governor will be chairman. This is also true. The first statement is true. Second is saying it was created to bring the transparency. This is also true. It was actually created to bring the transparency. Okay, apart from that, third is also true. Target will be taken by Government of India in consultation with RBI. It means all the statements are true here. Right now, the inflation target is 4% plus minus 2% ceiling. This is till 2021 till 2026. This target of inflation have been taken by Government of India. And do remember, inflation target always will be taken for the 5-year period. Okay. So right answer is all are true statements here. D option is correct. Next question we have, which among the following defines the marginal standing facility rate? So first of all, in MSF, RBI provides loan to scheduled commercial banks for overnight duration. Overnight means 24 hours. So RBI gave loan to scheduled commercial bank for 24 hours. Okay, and this loan will be given for the making possible for the banks that the whatever the unexpected or certain, or any certain requirement of cash is available in the bank, in that situation, RBI helped the banks by providing them immediate cash or immediate loan for 24 hours. But the loan amount will be up to 2% of their NDTL, not more than that. So this money came from where? This money comes from the SLR securities or SLR portfolio that banks maintains with themselves. Okay, so that's why the right answer will be C, because the rate at which banks can borrow against their excess SLR security to meet the additional liquidity requirement. Okay, so whenever the customer came to the bank and asking for a withdrawal and bank do not have a cash available, then at that time bank needs immediate support, and RBI allow the bank to withdraw the money from the SLR portfolio and provide that money to the customer, and within 24 hours you have to return that money to the SLR, and the limit is NDTL 2% can be taken, not more than that. And what is NDTL? Net demand and time liability. So why answer is C? Because this is the only option where we are talking about SLR money. Okay, so right answer is your C. So by finding out the keywords, you can also find out the answer very quickly. Now next, read the following statement and choose the correct option. We have two statements, statement 1 and statement 2. Out of these two statements, we have to answer which option will be correctly matched. So monetary policy have two types of policy, expansionary and contractionary monetary policy. First is saying expansionary policy decreases the total money supply in the economy and contractionary policy increases the total money supply. Second is saying expansionary policy is traditionally used to combat unemployment in a recent recession by raising interest rate, while contraction policy involves lowering interest rate in order to combat inflation. What do you think? Which of the following is correct? Actually, both the statements are not correct. Why? Because expansionary monetary policy increase money supply and contractionary monetary policy decrease money supply. So the first statement have been interchanged with each other in the expansionary and contractionary. And the second is also wrong because expansionary monetary policy used to increase the employment in the country. But in a recession situation, by increasing the interest rate? No. By decreasing interest rate, expansionary monetary policy combat the unemployment. Okay? By decreasing interest rate. That's why both the statement will be incorrect here. Right answer is D. Both are incorrect. Next we have, which among the following are the part of the additional objective of your fiscal policy? So fiscal policy created by Government of India, which of the following is the additional additional objective of fiscal policy? A, B, C or D? So first is saying fiscal policy is critical to economic development because it provides public benefit, encourage private investment, provide a socially optimum path for economic growth. This is not an additional objective. This is the primary objective. Second, our nation's economic progress requires an effective and reasonable deployment of resources. To keep prices under control, the government employ contractionary fiscal policy which reduce the aggregate demand through reduction in government expenditure or tax hike. This is true. This is the primary objective of the policy. Then experience of advanced countries has shown that fiscal policy can help drive down inequality. So right answer is A, second and fourth. The second statement and fourth statement is actually the additional objective of your fiscal policy. First and third is the primary objective. The third statement is describing for what purpose actually the fiscal policy is working. So right answer will be A, second and fourth is the additional objective. Okay, next question. Which among the following statements are incorrect in relation to fiscal policy? The incorrect statement in relation to the fiscal policy. First, fiscal policy is described as changes in government expenditure, taxes aimed at achieving macroeconomic policy objectives such as growth, employment, investment and so on. Okay. Second, Fisher defines fiscal policy as the government policies on the level of government purchases, the level of transfer, the tax system. Okay, so what we are talking about here? Fisher defines fiscal policy as the government policy on the level of government purchases, the level of transfer and tax system. Then Adam Smith was the first economist to propose the theory linked with the fiscal policy and economic performance. Then importantly, fiscal policy is based on two fundamental instruments, taxation and government expenditure. Which of them is incorrect? Out of these four statements, which statement is incorrect? And actually answer is only third. Reason? Because Mr. Adam Smith was not the first economist, it was the Fisher who was the first economics. J.M. Keynes, who was the first economist who have given us the theory that linked the fiscal policy and economic performance. So right answer is third is incorrect statement about your fiscal policy. Okay, right answer is third. It means A statement, A option. Because Adam Smith was not the first economist to define it. Now, read the following statement carefully and choose the correct option. So we have a statement given here. Under the following circumstances, RBI fails to achieve the inflation target. So two statements have been given to us. Out of these two statements, question is asking, out of these two statements, which condition or which statement defines that RBI failed to achieve the inflation target. So we have to find out the option here, which we can say that RBI failed to achieve the target here. Sorry. So which of the following will be correct here? Okay. So see here, first is saying the average inflation is more than the upper tolerance limit of the inflation target for any 3 consecutive quarters. So upper tolerance limit is what? 6%. But the average inflation we had in the country from the 3 consecutive quarters, it is more than 6%. Second is saying the average inflation is less than lower tolerance level, that is 2% for the 3 consecutive quarter. Sorry, it is 2%. So if we are saying from the last or from the 3 consecutive quarters, if the inflation, average inflation target remains low to 2%, it means in both the condition, RBI failed to achieve the inflation target. So right answer is both the statements are correct, because the upper and lower tolerance limit have been given, and if RBI is not able to maintain the average of those limit for the 3 consecutive quarters, it means RBI failed to achieve its target. Right answer is both are correct. Next, RBI has recommended banks to benchmark all new floating rate personal or retail loans and floating rate loans to micro and small enterprises extended by banks beginning October 1st, 2019. To RBI policy repo rate, to Government of India 3-month Treasury bill yield, published by the Financial Benchmark India Private Limited, Government of India 6-month Treasury bill yield published by FPIL, or any other benchmark market interest rate published by FPIL. So what do you think, which of the following is correct? So RBI has recommended the banks to what? To benchmark all the new floating rate personal or retail loan and floating rate loan to MSEs extended by banks that beginning from 1st October 2019. To whom? A, B, C or D. Which of the following will be correct here in context to this question? So we are talking about a floating rate loan to MSEs, right? And the RBI repo rate will be there, 3 months Treasury bill yield will be there, 6 months Treasury bill yield will be there, or any other benchmark rate will be there. So actually it will be first, second and third, not any other rate. Right answer will be your A. Arey, what happened? Right answer will be your A. In the first, second rate it will be provided. Next we have what will be the impact of economy if RBI increases CRR. So see, if it's very simple, When RBI increases the CRR, it means bank have to reserve more money. If banks are maintaining more reserves, they will have less liquidity. The liquidity with the bank will be less. If the bank have less liquidity, bank will be providing less loan to the people. If bank is giving less loan, what happened? The credit creation will decrease. So A and C will be eliminated. Because if bank are having less liquidity, bank will provide less loan, it will create less liquidity in the market. It means credit creation will decrease. If RBI have increased CRR, bank have less liquidity and bank is providing less loan, so bank have to cover its income from the less loan, so bank will charge high rate of interest here. And also because RBI have made contractionary monetary policy, bank will also charge the higher interest rate. So the loan will be what? Costlier. Credit creation will decrease and loan will become costlier here in case RBI have increased the CRR. Okay, right answer will be B. And why credit creation decrease? Because banks are providing less loan, because bank have less money. The more money they have reserved with RBI in the CRR. Okay, now if we deduct grants to states for the creation of capital assets, and you got a grants to create a capital assets. If you deduct that from the revenue deficit, we arrive at what? Primary deficit, net fiscal deficit, budgetary deficit, effective revenue deficit. So if we subtract grants to state for the creation of capital asset from the revenue deficit, we arrive at effective revenue deficit. And it will be what? It will be effective revenue deficit after deducting the grants, because grants you have got to as a free of cost. That's a grants, that's your asset now, you do not have to pay it back. So you can subtract your grants from the revenue deficit, you will get the effective revenue deficit. Next, which of the following is not a component of revenue receipts of the union government? So budget are of two components, revenue and capital. Revenue budget is a day-to-day budget, it's a short-term budget. And if you talk about revenue receipts, it's a day-to-day income of a bank. And the day-to-day income of a bank comes from the taxes and non-tax revenue. Tax and non-tax revenue. So here corporate tax, dividend, profit, interest is a part, but not the disinvestment. Disinvestment is a long-term income. So it is a part of your capital receipts. So right answer will be C. Right answer will be your C. Next. What are the two primary tools of fiscal policy? Taxes and penalties? No. Regulation, fines, it's taxes and spending. Or taxes and government expenditure you can say. Both are same. So right answer is D.